This is the creator. The creator. Stop playing.
Alright, hey everyone, it's Rayne, and I'm here to talk about a game that, no joke, I'm surprised I even love to play. Because I don't like PvP at all. The fact that I play this game is, the fact that I'm recommending this game, and yes, I'm telling you right now I recommend this game. It should be a surprise, it should speak for itself. But the game I'm talking about today, Predator Hunting Grounds. And I'm talking about it on PS4 because that's what I played on. So I'm going to be going over a few things I like and dislike about the game from specifically a developer standpoint. Because yes, I am a game designer, I am a game developer, an indie game developer. I just want to give my perspective on the things I notice from a design standpoint that I as a player have to like deal with. And I believe most of the people who are going to be watching this are players and not necessarily designers themselves. So the idea is, not to let certain things kind of just get a pass, a lot of people don't really know why something like microtransactions, like for example microtransactions, they don't know why that bothers them or what purpose could microtransactions serve. But as someone who makes video games, I can understand why a company or why a team or developers or whatever might want to make microtransactions. But then as a player, having to be on the other end of it, I can understand why these microtransactions are so, and not to be funny, but they're predatory. So I am trying to bridge that gap so that players are a bit more well informed when they're looking at a game they're playing. They're not settling for less per se. Not to say you can't enjoy what you enjoy, because everybody can enjoy anything, but I don't think it's okay for companies to charge us like full price for games that have half developed from their own perspective, not from our perspective, but from their own perspective. So this is another one of my first videos. I'm new to this, and if you're seeing this later on, or you're seeing this around the time it's posted, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a game designer. If you didn't hear me say that earlier, my first game, Ash Warrior, is a mobile game on the app stores on iPhone. I'm working on getting it on Android. Kind of going through the coding process for that, just to pass certain regulations and marks and stuff like that. I don't believe that I can do anything better than the developers who made the game per se. I'm looking at it just in a critique kind of standpoint. So in this game, Predator Hunting Grounds, you play as basically either you're one of four in like a four-man team sent into the jungle to do a mission, or you're playing as a predator by themselves, sent to kill the other players. And it really is basically just the plot of the first Predator movie playing out forever in like different ways, but it works. As simple as that setup is, it works for me. Like, in the type of game that it is, it just works. So let's start with something easy, something simple. Let's talk about the visuals of the game. And in my opinion, the game looks beautiful. You're always in the jungle. There isn't really anything you can say or do about that. You're always in the jungle, but within the jungle, there's diversity like across the map in the region. And so playing it in first person, you really take in the attention to detail that they put in. They want you to really feel like, okay, you're in this tropical jungle area. And when you're crossing, like trekking through the jungle, when I'm saying jungle like a million times, but when you're trekking through the jungle, you're crossing these hills or going up these pathways, and you come across all of these like camps and stuff. It really is an immersive feeling, because games can be beautiful for no reason, or games can be beautiful, or they can be not pleasing to look at, to be nice. But in this game, you kind of wish you had the time to just like walk around the island a little bit, just because it is very nice to take in. It doesn't really change. It never changes from game to game, from round to round. It doesn't really change necessarily. It just depends on what area of the map you're going to be in and what kind of areas you're going to be looking for, or what the objective is. That you might see something different, like maybe, you know, these type of buildings versus those type of buildings. But for the most part, if you enjoy a walk in the park, you're gonna enjoy this game. And if you don't like walks in the park or the forest or seeing the same jungle over and over, I can understand you're not gonna like this. But moving on from that, the gameplay is really where it's at. So the term I think that's correct is an asymmetrical multiplayer game, meaning it's basically a 1 versus 4 type of game, and that one person is going to be as powerful as all 4 other players combined, if not more powerful. So I know there's another game called, I think it's called Evolved. Let me see, because I'm not even sure. I never played that game. Yeah, there's another game called Evolved, and that's probably one of the earlier 1v4 games that I heard of that I never played. But honestly, after playing this game, I can see why that genre of 1v4 games, asymmetrical multiplayer games, I can see why it continues to evolve. Okay, I'm stuck. Jokes. I'm not a fan of PvP, but I'm good at it. Like, I can do PvP and 1v1, and you know, I play Tekken, Mortal Kombat, you know, Dead by Daylight, like all these games I play. So you know, I know a little bit about PvP and stuff, but none of those games really have the same feeling of when you get into this one-on-one fight with the Predator and he has his blade and you just have a combat knife and you're parrying you're parrying his lunges and you're avoiding his shoulder cannon thing. Like, the game gets intense, and if you walk away from that fight, you feel like you the toughest person on the planet. Like, there is nothing to compare to that. Like, that game, it's balanced really well where you can beat the Predator. It's just not likely, but if you do, you did. You know. And then on top of that, the game focuses on completing its own mission objectives if you're playing as like the humans. So you'll be tasked with like hacking computers or recovering these, you know, items or whatever, while the Predator is hunting you down. And it's like, it gives the game more to do that's just more than PvP, shoot more people on the other side or kill more people than the other person. There's an actual objective. There's actually things to do in the game. You're doing something while someone else is after you, and it just creates this feeling of tension that's just fun to play whether you win or lose. The only thing that sucks is really the load times. Like, the load times is crazy. We sitting there waiting for 2, 5, 10, 15 minutes to get a game, and you just, maybe you do, maybe you don't, you know? The only other thing that I don't like is that the loadouts aren't really very deep. Like, you can't really customize the loadouts as much as I'd like to be able to. There's some differences and stuff, and there's a little bit that you can do, but I feel like it's a little too basic because there's nothing else in the game to do besides drop into another 1v4. They added some new game modes like a 2v8 or something, and you know, stuff like that. But overall, I think the fun of the game, the loop is good enough to keep the game worth playing and worth having, and just on my PS4 at all times. I never get tired of just, sometimes I just want a quick match and I just hop in the game real quick and it's just perfect. As far as like the soundtrack, the music, the ambiance, all of that, I won't lie to y'all, I don't really listen to the music when I'm playing this game. And it's not because I think the music is bad or anything. I have my headphones on, the volume all the way up, and I'm ignoring all the gunshots, all the explosions, all the screams. I'm ignoring everything, and I'm listening for the sound of the Predator clicking. Like, that's it. That's the only thing. Like, if I hear something that sounds like a click, I am honed in on that sound alone, and I feel like that's a good thing. You know, I'm not trying to say like the music isn't worth checking out or paying close attention to it, giving its credit for, but in general, like, the sound design of the game, it is immersive. Like, every sound matters. It feels like it does, at least, and I think that's really good. I think that the game knows knows how to use its sound and its audio to create tension. And it's not artificial. Like, you can be hacking a computer and then you hear a clicking and then you hear a few gunshots, and like there's a whole story going on just off of the sound alone while you're trying to complete a whole different objective. And I think that's really great. I think a lot of games don't even really understand how important it is for the player to be able to infer story or infer action just from the sound alone that isn't necessarily scripted or isn't, a roller coaster ride of, well, now the music is going up, so now this is happening, and it's a roller coaster, like, oh, it's a cutscene or something. Like, no, there's live audio to pay attention to, and it's worth it. It makes the game that much better. So I do approve of this game. I really think the developers really did their thing with it. I really feel like the game was made for fans of the series, fans of the Predator movies, fans of the Predator concept. I think that as far as like 1v4 games and PvP games in general, I really think that this is one of those games that you can get lost in for a little bit.